Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky, the Dragonchain Update show. This is episode City 7 0xc7. It is the 200th episode, which is pretty amazing, number 200. So we've been doing this, I believe, for 200 consecutive weeks now, and, changing format occasionally, of course, but anyway, it's a good update show. Reminder, nothing on the show is financial advice, and stay tuned after all of the updates for an AMA. So we'll start with Dragonchain updates. And the only update we have is Super Happy Dragon Lucky. This show had a distribution last week of 374 lot. There was only one question for 93 lot. There was one featured post for 93 lot. The host received 93 lot, and Dragonchain received 94 lot. I think that's right. And it's probably the rounding number there. DENDAO.Social updates next. So the June 2023 LCP will start next Tuesday. This is an empty week because it was the 5th week of the month, I guess. So next Tuesday, the proposal phase will be there, and you guys can make proposals for new layers. In case you missed it, in May, there were 2 new layers created. Number 1 by unique voters was real estate, and number 1 by Lord Committed was Australia. And related also to Den is Coffee with Den, which is back tomorrow. So Dave Distant is back from his short vacation, and he'll be on. So join live at 0900 Eastern and 1300 UTC. Hear all about his trip and other changes or anything going on with the show. Next, we have DENDAO updates, and we didn't have it last week because I was unavailable and Dave was out. So it is also back this Thursday, June 1 at 1500 Eastern, 1900 UTC. Watch for the post in the DENDAO lair for the agenda and the link to join live. Remember, everyone's welcome to join. It's just a meeting, so you can come in and ask any questions either in the comments or over audio, however you want to do it. Also, we move now to the World Blockchain Roundtable update. So make sure you watch and share last week's episode, which was on reinventing insurance for the mobile generation. The more views it gets the first week, the more lot all of the participants will get. Episode 106 will be this Thursday, June 1 at 1100 Eastern, 1500 UTC. The topic is DENDAO.Social from concept to present day and beyond. Make sure you leave a blockchain related question or something related to Den for us to discuss. I will be on the show. Hopefully we'll get through a whole bunch of the background and why things are the way they are on Den. A lot of we could go for hours on that subject. So hopefully it'll be focused. We'll see. And let's see here. That's it. So that's all the updates. So now we'll do an AMA. So we'll pop that up and hopefully we can get it on screen. Yes. All right. We got it on screen, and we will go to the first question. 1 second. Looks like I maybe need to share it. Do I need to share it? Okay. All right. I'm going to pull it up. Hopefully I can share it. I'll pull it up here and over here, and then I will share it over here. Sorry, guys. This is not a big deal, but we'll make it work. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to share. If I share a tab, it has sometimes failed because of my video card driver on my box here. So let's see if I can do this right. I think this is it. I think this is it. I hope. No, that is not it. Let's see here. Well, it's this. Okay, so it's I shared the wrong one, but it's the same thing, so it's all good. Okay, so the AMA for today. All right, so we have one question. I will refresh it to make sure we still only have one question. All right, so from I am for I am. Sorry. Oh, we have a few questions. This is good, right? From I am for I am, DIN design question. Why didn't your design include sublayers like in my image example? So let's look at the image example. Cryptocurrency layer could have a Bitcoin and ETH, a Doge, and others. Why no sublayers, right? A simple process could have been set up for the sublayers to be created. They could have been created like tags are done through the proposal vote process. Also, it'd be very easy for denizens to navigate to the sublayers. I think they could become necessary as subscribers or users grow in numbers. What would be very cool, sublayers could have paid dividends to the parent layer, lot holders, and people participating. I guess it's not too late to add this functionality. Just time, money, and a DAO vote. So I'll say there are several things that in the early days that led to us not doing that, and that is that essentially I've always kind of seen the layers as equivalent, one-to-one equivalency to what a subreddit would be. It is literally a community on a subject, and though you might have a Bitcoin layer as well as a cryptocurrency layer. Some more general stuff would go to the cryptocurrency, including some Bitcoin things. And then you might cross post to Bitcoin, but Bitcoin would essentially vote down or not want things about Doge, for example, right? And the other was that we had a very early in one of the alpha, I guess you'd call it an alpha phase, is either alpha or beta of the project where we let people create their own layers before we had the layer creation process at all. We were like, okay, maybe we make it much more like Reddit, where people can just pop up. And you know what? I'm gonna make this bigger so that you can read it. Maybe where they could pop up their own layers, and if we ended up with, I think, thousands of layers, it got out of hand, and we realized, okay, that's what led us to create the LCP. But essentially, I think the solution to this, I should say, the issue was then a dearth of content that the more layers you have and the more split up everything is, the harder it is to get enough people in each of them to create content, right? So more general layers started with cryptocurrency and news and things like that. And then you end up with more niche or tightly tuned subject matter communities over time as people come in. And the solution to this, I think, is the tags. I think that what we really need is a better tag filtering interface, a better tagging interface, and a better tag filter interface, wherein we already know that and we've solved a couple of issues related to spam tagging, people putting in too many tags and things like that, that it is harder to do that now, and it's also how do I say, less effective. You get penalized more than you were originally. So we haven't seen, or I haven't anyway, noticed a ton of the issues that we had early on with spam tagging. So imagine instead of having sub-layers, you go to the cryptocurrency layer, like this example, and you click somewhere in the interface. It has to be relatively simple, but you click on the tags, one or more tags, to say, look, I want to see Bitcoin and ETH, but I don't want to see Doge, right? Then all of a sudden, it's essentially a user-specific view into that community where I'm just not going to see anything related to ETH, let's say. I'm going to talk about all the rest of the crypto, or I only want to see Bitcoin related material. I click that, and it would, in my opinion, need to be easy to turn on a whim. It's like, hey, there's a lot going on in Bitcoin. I'm going to filter out everything else. But at the same time, I would want it to be something that per user, that user's account would essentially store your custom filtering, so that it would be easy to erase it. It'd be easy to say, okay, wait a minute, I want to see everything again, blow that filter away. But at the same time, you could set your filtering, let's say in a music layer, you want to see everything rock and metal and folk or something, right? That every time you go in there, that's all you would see. And the rest of it would be filtered out because that there's stuff there that you don't care about. So I think that's the solution. Maybe we can get on Thursday and talk about that. I don't think, frankly, that would be too hard to implement. I mean, we have all of the functionality in there for the tagging, and I'd have to talk to the devs to figure out how easy the implementation is. But all the data is there, and we would have to, and we already have the ability to store user-specific settings per layer, I do believe. So anyway, we'll figure that out. So great question. Thanks a bunch. Next, sinfully cerebral. Okay, sinfully cerebral question. Do we know when we will hear about layer cross-posting? I don't know when. We could talk about that on Thursday too. Maybe join the call on Thursday, or at least be there to make sure you bring this up, and maybe we can take a note right now to include this and IM4Am's post reply there in the call, so we at least put it on the agenda so we can talk about it. Because this one, we already have the full design. It's not a simple implementation, is the reason it's taken a while. So, and there is I'm going to put this up, by the way. Let's see here, make sure I vote them all up the same. Did I vote that up? I voted at 25. So so yeah, we will, I'll vote them all up 4,000. How about that? We will get that in time, and there are a couple of things that might make it faster. So, okay. Oh, and look, Dave already has a response too. I have an idea for a plugin that integrates Dragon proofs into a legacy system. Is this a reply, or is this a top level? Okay, it is separate. Is it weird to treat each individual plugin installation as an L1? That seems like a better idea to run an L1, Dragonchain L1, that the plugins interface with, like DEN's front end interfacing with the back end and L1. It would make them much more lightweight. For one, I think. I wonder if L1 plugins would be beneficial, though. For example, not relying on any other system to get transactions onto DragonNet. How light could an L1 be? And is there a situation where making a software plugin itself into an L1 is a good design choice? Yes. I mean, we've thought about that in the past. There could be ways that, we typically have worked with individual customers in this way, that in some cases they might want or need fully separate L1 chains, just based upon, if they have a factory here and a factory there or something. But at the same time, they could put Raspberry Pis in each of those locations and feed them into an L1 running in the cloud or in their data center. That's been a choice sometimes. Typically, it's been based upon volume, network distance, and how similar the data is, or if certain data is sensitive inside their org and that not everybody can have access to it, that they might separate that into its own L1. So something like this, it could be something where you could envision someone coming in with a plugin environment where things that would need some historical proof or event specific data could share. Specifically, if it's not super sensitive, they could share an L1 and it would be totally appropriate. I mean, it definitely scale to that level for certain. And I do know that we're working on a project, as an example, a project that there will be multiple levels. I shouldn't say levels because they're not the same as Dragonchain levels. There will be multiple. How do I say? There are multiple ways to use the system. That there will be general use. So if you're a startup and you're using this system, you won't probably run your own L1. You would just use the common L1. It will still be relatively secure. You wouldn't want to put super sensitive info on there or anything, but you'll have access to the key features of what is Dragonchain and what this system is building out. But then if you are an enterprise or if you are a very well-funded concern, then you would be able to run your own, right? So if you want your own and you want to host it and do all the things that your security team might want, you'll be able to do that, and it will still have the same network, I should say the same service features that will be offered with this project. So things like that. Essentially, the answer is you could do anything you damn well please. So there's a lot of, by design, a lot of flexibility there. So, all right, let me put that one up like crazy. And I guess it's good that I shared it from here because up next is the featured post. And I'm going to pull this one off so that I can, oh, great. Guys, come on. So ridiculous. Well. Okay, sorry, guys. 1 second. Oh, somehow I lost it. Where in the world? This is ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys. All right. No, that's not it. Well, I'm going to remove that and I'm going to reshare it. So 1 second, we're going to go now to the, gosh, where is it? Featured content. I'm going to put this over here. God, this is crazy. Ridiculous stuff. I'm sorry, guys. We have a machine down. So now I'm going to present. All right, we're going to share a new screen. And it is going to be this one. I hope it's the right one. I have too many screens open. Yeah. Okay. So from adapted.site, featured content, DENDAO.social UI is not great. You may have understood what I meant to discuss here from the title above. I like the mechanism on which the platform runs. Thank you. And the way the blockchain and social media are connected, but I don't agree with the UI or the looks of the site. That's fine. To each his own. Nobody's going to love everything. The theme and the navigation look old in the current scenario. Okay. There's no mobile app that could help smartphone users. We have an update there. I do not blame it on devs, but I think it's time we contribute to the development of the platform. If the code is made open source, users with coding experience can contribute to feature updates and features. We need to take care of the accessibility of the software is good enough to promote it and make more people adopt it. Do you agree with me? Do you all agree with me? Agree at certain points for sure. PS, as Bit by the Coin mentioned, thank you. There is a mobile app for both Android and Apple. I might have overlooked that part because the official homepage did not mention any. Okay, so on this, we can answer that. Thank you for the positives. And as to the look and feel, I mean, there are certain things that are great, certain things that are about it, and it very much has been a compromise on several things. Our primary focus has been the functionality, that is the, I don't know if you'd say economics, but the, what I would call the behavior system, essentially proving it out that using a blockchain-based behavior system or marketplace behavior AI, or behavior marketplace AI, which is our official term for it, that we wanted to prove that you could generate better content with how do I say, and better evaluation or curation of that content than you can get on a system which is much more dumb, like Reddit. You know, the system itself, not the people. Not that I'm not going to say that, but either way, that and I think we've well proven that out, that including in ways or some elements that we didn't include as part of the goals, which are byproducts, and that is that behavior marketplace AI in Den has produced far less drama than you would typically get on a social media site, and particularly around crypto. I mean, we still get Dragonchain drama, and you can actually see the difference in the regular system where we have the behavior marketplace versus, like, say, the chats, where there is still a lot of trolling and BS Dragonchain drama, fun. And, but you can kind of just ignore those or block people or whatever. And so we've proven that out. We've also proven out something that we didn't expect, which was, and, when we had a couple of projects and we had some people saying, okay, well, you need to set up a Discord, right? And when we looked at it, they were saying, and, we have to get someone to moderate it and all this other. And, it harkened back to our days on Telegram, where we had to have essentially 24/7 monitoring and moderation in order to keep spam and trolls and, frankly, some really bad stuff off there. That with Den, there is no paid moderator that I know of in any, some of the business layers might have paid moderators, right? But in any of the general layers, there are no paid moderators, and there hasn't needed to be paid moderators. That essentially the communities are able, without much effort, to take care of the negatives, and the positives are pushed up further. Yeah, we need more people, of course. We do need more content, of course. And I do agree with you that in order to really accelerate any such need, improving UI or making things better generally, we do need to put some time into getting the platform totally open sourced, so that you can imagine if we had better ability to plug in, theoretically you could have multiple interface. I hope we wouldn't have that, but you could have some group that totally hates this and decide, hey, we're going to make a dark only version of the UI, or totally change the way they want the UI. As to the dating of the UI, that's a very personal thing that you can look at several other sites, and I think Den is better than a lot of them. But obviously, we don't have the resources of like a Facebook or a Twitter to keep up with all of that. And in fact, when we mentioned the mobile app, I did not know it is apparently still at least partially functional. There are a couple of things, like apparently you can't do any of the DAO voting on there because we upgraded the general authentication system, and we did not update the apps because we don't have one of the devs that used to be on the team that would do that work. And also we kind of put the apps on the back burner because that, and the fact that both Apple and Google were essentially requiring us to cripple the app in several ways, and costing us a lot of time doing so, because they would assume something, not understand it, treat us differently than other apps like Twitter and other bigger apps. And generally not listened to us when we said, oh, we already do that, here it is. It ends up being a lot more work than you might expect. And, we don't have the time or resources right now to do that. So we thought about totally just taking the apps off the marketplaces, and we might still want to do that, depending. But either way, the apps were there. And, like the Android app was really nice, or I guess both of them were based on the same code base. It was, in some ways, there were a couple of features that were better than the web, but, maintenance is pretty hefty. So anyway, that was a long one. And now let's go back and we can finish up the updates. So that's everything there. Make sure you watch us. We can close out now. Make sure you watch us again next week, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 1500 UTC. Make sure you watch the roundtable this Thursday, World Blockchain Roundtable, 1100 Eastern, 1500 UTC. Make sure you get some Dragonchain and Den merch at the Dragonchain.store. Follow Dragonchain Real Denizens, Jojo Row on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Den.Social. Make sure you contribute as you are able to Dragonchain's legal fund at legalfund.dragonchain.com. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, please. I think that's everything we had. See you again next week or soon.
Now, more than ever, our data is at risk. Our supply chains are in jeopardy. Our systems are broken, and businesses feel powerless. Dragonchain gives you a different way, a safer way, a better way, and you have power over your data. Dragonchain gives you proof in an untrusted world. Build now at dragonchain.com. America's blockchain.